All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. Okay, so here it is. That's my, I finished those packets there. This is all the stuff up here I planted. Here's my list. So I got corn, green beans, red beans, yellow beans, purple beans, peas, red pepper and of 2 types in that row, more red peppers of 2 types in that row, cucumbers, pumpkins, 2 pucks, and the rest is sunflower seeds, and the back one is big sunflower seeds, which was that one. Those, if they grow like 20 feet tall. It'd be really cool. I never had success with the sunflowers due to you know, massive sunflower hemorrhaging due to lawnmower forgettiness. Corn doesn't do well around here, but I tried it anyway. Some of these other things, like the beets, the turnips, radishes, those you can plant later. I forgot watermelon. I really should put a watermelon in there. But let me show you where I'm at. So this is kind of like the kind of final phase of stage 1. And that's basically what you do. Put the year on every seed packet. Why? Because you won't remember how old these seed packets are. And sometimes over time, it's like you want to use the old ones first. Make your column. Okay, so you know what row. There's 11 rows I got, so 75 pucks, not 78. I don't know why I came up with 78, but 75 pucks that you get in that one. Some of them might vary, but and just put each row. You know, okay, when this is sitting there, okay, well, no, I'll you know, put on the lid which way is forward type of thing, so I don't get confused what I got. But obviously, if a pumpkin comes up, I'll know it's a pumpkin. Everything else I might not, because they all look, the plants look the same. But what you see, I push these ones in, and you just push them in. Read your packets. Some seeds require 1/4 inch, some 1/8 inch, whatever. Just push them in gently, like so, and put more than one seed in. Why? Because you got one for you, one for the Lord, one for Murphy. Usually is the rule of thumb for most things, but sometimes you can risk it and just do 2. Don't put them in too hard, and don't squeeze your pucks too much, but try to close them up a little bit. And just get them in there, whatever, and use like a little pokey rod like this. And the idea is that you want them to be able to easily sprout, right? So put them in so that they're covered and protected, but not so much that they're smushed in there, or that you smush all the water out of the puck. So you want these things damp, not wet. And then you can go and you can do all your other seeds and stuff like that, and just push them in. Not much to it, pretty straightforward. Then you throw your lid on. Go put it somewhere in a nice, dark, cool, but you know, warm enough spot that it's going to take. So why do it this way? Why would you leave the seeds exposed like that, not just push them in as you do it? Because here's what will happen. You'll get a row like this, and you'll be like, is there anything in there? And you'll think, oh yeah, I'm sure there's something in there. And then you'll find out later on that you missed a row. So do the seeds all last, then you know you got everything. Yeah, so there we go. And again, we can have a look at, like asparagus, obviously, is going to go into the ground. Chives, onions, parsley, sage, parsley again, spinach, parsley, yeah, more chives. I love chives anyway. Carrots, Swiss chard. I like this stuff if the deer don't eat it all on you. Got a variable amounts of carrots. This stuff, I never got this stuff to actually, I've only grown one ever, but I sometimes I try crazy stuff just to see what'll happen. But this is basically what I got. So I got peppers of a couple of different types. Got some sunflowers, a pumpkin, some red peppers. You're saying, well, where's all your tomato, and all types of beans and peas and corn? And you're saying, oh, and don't ask me about the cactus. I am a cactus murderer. You want in? Is that what you're saying? Interrupt my video? Come on. Yeah. Keep it down. Keep it down. Anyway, so, Gazoo. So, say something. Say something. Go on, go meow. Go meow. Shh, keep it down. You're interrupting my video. What a rude cat. Even though I asked him to do that. But anyway, yeah, so he's like, he's still doing this. He's like, when do I get treats? Feed me, human. Put food in my dish now. So demanding. So demanding. But anyway, as I was saying, is I don't have any tomatoes here. You're saying, well, where's all your tomatoes? I have no tomatoes. I don't have any tomatoes whatsoever. Why? Because my dad is going to buy tomatoes or he's probably already got those little green things. You can't really see them. My dad and I kind of do separate competing gardens in the same garden, so it's kind of funny. But he pretty much tomatoes. Sometimes he'll do cucumbers, but most of the time, these are all going to be tomatoes, right? So he does it this way. He don't know how well it'll work. Some of them usually do come up, but he'll do tomatoes there. So there's no point in me doing more tomatoes. Now, mind you, sometimes what I'll do is a different variety of tomatoes, but I have none this year. I might buy some later on the next time I'm out, you know, if I can find seed packages for cheap. Yeah, and I'll do that. But figured he's going to have, usually we have tons and tons of tomatoes, and that's all we grow is tomatoes. So it's like nice to have all this other stuff if it takes. Pumpkins, I don't know if it might be a good year for pumpkins with all that water, who knows, and watermelons, but it has to be warm enough for those, and then whatever. So I do all this other stuff. But what I really want is, like, for example, I want the sunflower seeds to take so that they basically, in a nutshell, just, you know, renew every year. But it's really, it's hard to get it going, but once you get it going, and it's finding the spot where I can put it where, you know, I don't run it over with the lawnmower, that type of thing. But the idea of the sunflowers is to bring in the bees, right? But things like parsley and chives and stuff, I've had success with chives. I've got a thing of chives. The problem is, like, it's getting grown over by other things, so it's like, okay, it's still there, but, like, you know, in the springtime, I see this green patch first, and it's usually chives that I put in. So I'm trying to find a spot where I can put in the chives, and they come back every year, and I don't have to worry about them, and I don't have to worry about the weeds overtaking it, right? But anyway, that's how I'm doing it. Again, last phase is just throw the lid on it, and it'll look something like this, because somebody's going to ask me, say, well, what is it? We don't know. You didn't complete the job. So it'll look like that, and it'll hold in all that nice, warm, moist peat puck, and I'll put these away for next year. And again, the ones that don't take, I just recycle into the compost or whatever. Why not? So sometimes things might start growing out of your compost, but that you weren't expecting, like pumpkins. We used to stop eating the dog food. It's not like we don't feed you like 8 times a day. But anyway, yeah. So there we go. That's phase 1 of the garden. When is it going to go in? Well, we are in April. I started late this year. We're April 24th. Usually I have this done by the 15th, but I find if you plant too early, the plants grow to a point where it's like, okay, you got to get them in the ground now. And we will not have our plants in before the middle of June, period. There's no way that's going to be possible. You know what I mean? So you can see there's still quite a bit of snow left there. I know the window's kind of dirty or whatever, but you get what I'm getting at. So there's no use planting them too early. They'll be big enough once they go in. If they get as early of a start as you can, it helps. You know, it's nice when the plants are, you know, like, you know, 6-7 inches tall. When you put them in, you know, they're going to have a stronger chance of survival. But, you know, if they're 3 inches, they still usually do pretty good. As long as you know, take care of them while they're in. But especially stuff like it's very viney, if you plant it, like pumpkins and a watermelon, cucumbers, they get root bound very quick, and they'll die before you get them into the ground. And you're always like scrambling, where do I put this? I got to do stuff. I always plant more than I need, so half the stuff won't even make it into my little 4x8 garden. I know a lot of that stuff, there's not enough room for all that stuff, but I throw it in anyway. You know, I just do it more for the hobby of it. So who knows? But it's good practice to do that every year, because maybe someday we may have to actually survive, go back to an agrarian culture again, especially the way the world elites do all their crazy, you know, stuff. Automation is not always our friend. You know what I mean? We'll just say that. So yeah, if things get rough, it's good to learn how to do that. And this is really easy to do. It's a great prep, so to speak. It's also a great, even if you're not into the prepping thing, most of the world's problems can be solved in a garden. You know what I mean? The rest is on a motorcycle, pretty much. You know what I mean? Just saying. I miss my motorcycle. That's my next job this week, is to diagnose my poor motorcycle. But we won't make this about my poor motorcycle. We'll just make it about the hot peppers and the pumpkins and all the beans and stuff. But yeah, that's how I'm doing it. We'll see what if I'm going to be successful or whatever. The peat pucks, they don't last forever either, so keep that in mind. Sometimes what will happen with them is they just I don't know. They sometimes they just don't produce anything. I don't know why that is. These ones are getting. These are a couple of years old. I think I bought. Geez, these are probably older than I thought. I don't know when I bought these, but there was 1,000 in here. Is this a receipt? No. Oh, it is. I can tell you. Can I read it? Hang on. Obviously, Irwin Stores where I bought it. The date is. Oh, no. That can't be right. Because I obviously wasn't up here nowhere. So this looks like 2008. So it takes a while to go through 1,000 peat pellet pucks if you don't, if you're not growing all over the place. Anyway, I'll leave it at that there you go. Make sure you smash the like button and I'll give you an update later on.